Hey guys, what's up? Cosmos TV, and today we're going to be looking over our progress that we've made so far and talking to you guys about a few of the things we did. Um, the base seems to be coming along pretty quickly, but I'm trying to refine things because there's a number of things I would like to be able to do better. So a lot of what I've been doing is trying to tinker the design and fix things as we go along. But um, another big problem I had initially was food because I'm deciding to bring in so many duplicates. And once again, if you guys are new to this game and not like really well defined as to how you play the game just yet, I would not recommend bringing in 9 duplicates. It can be pretty stressful and they require a lot more resource. And if you don't know how to give them that resource right away, it can really tear your base up pretty quickly. More dupes means you need to be able to produce more oxygen and you need to be able to produce more food. And producing more food, I fixed down here initially with the meal wood, but we're not even eating meal ice anymore. So I actually might dig some of this up because I'm going to save my dirt. If I don't have to use dirt, then that's fine. And we're actually not even eating meal ice at all. I have 60,000 meal ice we're cooking off right now. But I am eating, though, our stuffed berries. And as you can see, I have 243,000 kilocalories of stuffed berry right now. And that's mostly from my bristle blossom farm over here that I'm getting, along with my pitch of pepper that I'm growing over here. And as you can see, my temperature over here, I try to kind of keep this area as stable as possible. Eventually, the heat will start to drain out of this area because a lot of the rock that you dig out, this is what contains the heat in the area. So if you come over to a cold biome and you dig out all this stuff on the inside, eventually you will heat out that area. And it won't stay cold anymore. So you have to be pretty careful. But I know that I'm going to lose heat in this area, so eventually this farm, as you can see, the dirt I'm putting in, excuse me. Wow, I don't know what that was. The dirt I'm putting into this area is actually cooling these down, so eventually I will lose my pinch of pepper plants, and I'll have to move that farm somewhere. But a couple things that I've done is, as I told you guys, I like to maintain this little chlorine pocket we had initially, so what I did was I kind of dug it in, and I wanted to keep it here so that way I can store all like my slime and stuff from the dirt biomes and kill all the germs that come in. And one of the best ways that you can keep water in your base, because initially you're going to find that you're going through water really fast and you're not replacing it. Lavatories are a really good way to do that. So as you can see, I have a lot of lavatories. I like to try to get as many as I can so the duplicates don't have to wait. But for every lavatory I have a sink. And that's so they'll wash their hands. Because if they don't wash their hands, they'll get food poisoning germs and they'll spread those throughout the base. Which I might have a couple. No, most of them just have little slime lung germs. But their slime lung isn't even that bad. So I'm not really concerned. Nobody's really been sick and immune systems are still 100% right now. But what you'll notice is as they run out of these bases, after they use the bathroom, they'll get food poisoning germs, and if they don't wash their hands, then they'll spread that to like your food supply. They'll start eating it, it'll go into your water supply, it'll get everywhere. So what I do is, and I'll show you guys my plumbing grid. So I've set up this neat little thing here, and this system kind of runs on its own, and it produces excess water, which is why I have the liquid reservoir. So our research tree, as you guys can see, I've gone pretty deep into it so far. I haven't researched everything, but I like to get animal control done, even though I can't really make any of these because I don't have plastics yet. But I just get it out of the way, and I do that so I can start ranching. And the earlier you can ranch, the better. And I'm going to show you and explain why, because once the critters die, they go extinct from the map. You can't get them back. So you try to preserve what you can early because they all have uses at some point in the game, except for maybe fish. I'm not really sure what we can do with fish yet, but maybe we'll build a big fish tank at one point and figure it out. So I've gone into power regulation, and I do this so that way my early generators like my coal and stuff can put out a little more power, and I won't overload my circuits. And a lot of times you'll see like I'm carrying like 1300 watts on 1K wire, but all that equipment's not running at the same time, so it never overloads the circuits. The second thing I like to do is I like to get my smart batteries early. Smart batteries are really, really, really awesome because they don't lose charge as fast as regular batteries. These drain and they lose a lot of charge over time. This will store it, but it'll hold that charge. And it also requires a little bit of automation work, which isn't too bad. This is a really good introduction for a lot of you guys getting into automation. So the smart battery is really awesome because it conserves resources. So if you have it hooked up to a coal generator, this thing's not just going to run nonstop to charge the battery. You can actually set it, and it'll preserve your coal, it'll preserve hydrogen, it'll preserve whatever resource you're using to supply that generator. So in order to do that, you need to do the refinement. I haven't got smelting yet because I'm about to get there, because the big thing I'm going to be pushing for today is probably getting plastic started up, depending how the base is coming along. I did fix up the bathrooms, and I just got things done because I realized that I had 9 duplicates already. So it's like, I need more bathrooms, and I had to kind of fix some things. So I'm glad I did that before I put the video together, so I don't have to waste that much time. So you need this so that way you can produce refined metal. It's not a lot, and you produce a lot of sand with this. This is not an effective way, and it will burn more metal than it's worth. But to get started and you get a couple batteries and get, you know, your exosuits going, this is where you're going to make your start at. I've researched into healthcare because with my chlorine biome that I cut through, I got some bleach stone. Hand sanitizer is really good, so I don't have to use hand wash stations everywhere, and it's pretty simple. And a lot of times they don't really even have to use them, but it's just little safety checkpoints I put so I don't spread germs where they don't need to go. Obviously, I spread into decontamination. This is one of the first ones we did, and I like to get this for the deodorizers earlier. And you're gonna want to have the deodorizers once you start getting into the slime biome, so you can purify some of that oxygen, so you can start expanding your base a little better. Improved plumbing I needed for the hydro sensor, for the liquid reservoir, and my shutoff valve. So these were 2 things, and this requires a little bit of automation technology, which I'll show you guys my setup. Air systems, so I can create oxygen without burning hydrogen. This does consume water. However, it creates hydrogen, which we can use to create power in a different way, not using coal. And I'll show you guys my setup now. I know, and I've seen, and I checked out the subreddit, and there is really, really, really awesome electrolyzer systems out there. And I may not be using the most efficient one, but it works for my base. And the way I produce water, I never really run out of water. And I just hit a cool steam geyser, so I'm not really having a water issue, but maybe I'll try to look into a way of fixing it. And if you guys have any recommendations for these, please do feel free to drop like a link in the comments, and I'll check out your builds and I'll share them in the next video. So a lot of the comments I'd like to be able to read through comments and stuff in the video. HVAC, I went ahead and got this done. This is going to be really cool for having my thermo sensor for when I get into the coal biomes later. I'll show you guys what I do with that, and obviously it gives me my insulated tiles. Now, one of the big things a lot of you new guys run into, and I ran into it as I got started, I'm sure other people have, was your base gets hot pretty quick once you start digging out and expanding into the outside biomes, and if you don't take care of that, your base can get really hot and out of control, and you can kill all your farm, which you lose your food, and which you'll lose your duplicates. And as you're creating oxygen using the electrolyzer systems, this puts out pretty hot oxygen, so you have to find a way to maintain the temperature and moderate it as you go along. And that gives me my airflow tiles and everything else that I can work with. I did improved ventilation, so I can get my Atmos sensor, and environmental protection. I just click this one, and this takes care of everything else, so that way I can get my exosuits started. And I mean, obviously, in order to do this, that gives me all of this so I can take care of my stress. And since I don't have a rec room yet, and, well, I mean, I have a great hall with a water cooler, but I don't have, like, a jukebox or anything like that to give them, like, that morale that they get from, like, an actual rec room. And that's because the jukebox requires like 960 watts to run, I think. Where is it? Furniture. Here it is. Yeah, 960 watts. And if you think about it this way, a coal generator only produces, I believe, 600 watts, and a hydrogen generator produces 800. So this thing already overloads that generator use and burns the crap out the resources. Now we will do it eventually, but for right now, I don't have that in store, and I've been kind of tinkering with ways to get more showers fit in, because I just realized, and it's probably a dumb move, but I just realized that I didn't actually have to have a these included in the bathroom. So you can set your showers up elsewhere, but I wanted to keep them close to my little water grid I have over here. And the cool thing is I can store all my polluted water here inside of my liquid reservoir, and since it's sitting in the chlorine, it's going to kill all the food poisoning germs. So if I start this here, all the food poisoning germs that are in this water are just going to be killed off while it waits. And that's why I have the liquid shutoff valve, so this doesn't run continuously, and it can kill all the germs throughout the day as my duplicates work. And when it runs, I get clean water coming back through. For the most part, sometimes you may not get all of it, and it might take dirty water in, but you're going to be more effective at killing off that. And the only reason that it matters for that is because I do take some of this runoff, and as I run low on water, I'll run that water back into my base. So I have in here stored an extra 632 kilograms of water, and I'll be able to keep that in case I need to run it back in. Now 40 degrees centigrade is hotter than what's in my base currently, but it is water, and if you need it in a pinch for anything, and depending on what it's powering, like if it goes to my farm, not so good, but if it goes to my electrolyzer, it doesn't matter, because that's a pressure that's a heat that's known. So my mealwood farm is down here, and this is what I initially got started with, but I was having a problem with food, so I just went crazy down here in a pocket that I didn't actually know what to do with, and I had a bunch of carbon dioxide down here, so I just put the mealwood down here for now. And I built a little carbon dioxide pit down here. Now, this is where I try to tell you guys that you don't need to remove all the carbon dioxide from your base, because you can use it to preserve your food. Now, I do have refrigerators, but none of them are plugged into anything because the carbon dioxide is keeping this sterile. Carbon dioxide provides a sterile environment where your food does not spoil. So, I do have a little bit of food poisoning in here. It's fine. They'll survive. It's a little bit of germs, but it's not going to hurt my dupes. So my food won't spoil, whether these are plugged in or not. And I did dig into a couple cold biomes, and I grabbed up some wheezeworts. So there's a ton of wheezeworts around, and I got all those wheezeworts and I brought them into my base, and that's where my initial cooling is going to come from. Oh dang, they already dug that out. And as you can see, I have hiccups, I'm sorry guys. So as you can see, that's where I'm getting a lot of my cooling from, okay? So the cool thing that I was able to do was I was able to trap my shine bugs in one room, and I turned that into where my shine bugs were, just because I had them all contained. Now, I don't know how I managed to do that so fast, but normally when I get them on the map, for the most part, the bulk of them are going to be trapped in some little pocket. I usually dig an area and put a door there, so that way I can just trap them there so they don't free roam. And then I built a room around that, so if you know your starting base, what your starting base looks like, if they're all trapped in this pocket, I'll put a door here, and then I'll try to like slowly build walls as they drop down into one zone, and I turn that into a room. I didn't even realize I had a chlorine gas vent up here. That's awesome. I have a lot of chlorine, so I'm really not too concerned about what I did. So with the fact that I had so much chlorine, I said I kept this base here, and my liquid lock entirely separates. So I haven't leaked one bit of chlorine into the base except when I dug here. So as I was telling you guys, I insulated my base because it was starting to seep hot through here, and I didn't want that getting into my base where it didn't need to be. So I insulated the top of my base. man, that's really cold. And this is cold because this is the air that's going to be pumping throughout my base. And I've insulated all around my base. And this is going to protect your farms, except for this spot right here, because I feel like I can dig this out more if I need to, because this room actually can be a lot bigger than it is. It's currently 48, and it can be 120. So if I do decide to bring in more dupes anytime soon, I can just dig this out, and then I can insulate it, turn it into my, and keep it as my great hall. So since there's no hot over here that I'm worried about immediately, I just kind of, I kind of kept that spot open for me to make expansion if necessary. And speaking of expansion, I did leave a door here. So that way, as I get into this cold biome, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a neurovacillator in here. So that'll be really cool. As I get into this zone, I can put a couple exosuits here, and we can just go do work. Expansion-wise, what I did over here, as I said, I don't really need the exosuits right here, even though it is chlorine. As you can see, my stress is really, really, really fine, and that is due to the fact of how I scheduled their time. I did give them 4 blocks for downtime to keep their morale up, because the more down, I think it goes up to 4. Yeah, it goes up to 4. So I can improve morale a little bit by giving them this 4th block of downtime. And that helps me out with a lot of their morale requirement for their jobs. Because a lot of their jobs can get stressful. As you can see, this duplicate's supposed to have 12 morale. They have almost 30. And the other thing that really fixes that is the fact that they're eating superb meals right now. And that superb meal, I believe, is stuffed berry? No. Pepper bread. Okay, so I do get some pepper bread in right now, and that gives them an insane buff, and I haven't had to worry about stress not one darn bit. And so the decor of my base, this bathroom's not going to have a whole lot, but you know what, they're not in there very long, and they're already going to get a stress relief bonus from it anyway. And well, I guess now it's a morale boost, not a stress relief bonus. They used to get stress relief from it. But as I told you, I was running into stress relief issues, so I put a tiny little massage clinic in here. You don't really need to do more than 2, and if you're running a bunch of these, it's 240 watts. And I kind of have a free hydrogen generator here, so I just kind of ran it off its own system because I wanted this to be autonomous on its own system. The only problem I can see myself having with this one is that this is a 1320 watt system, because I did have this gas filter. And I've been tinkering with how many electrolyzers I need versus pumps at one time. So now I'm starting to get a buildup of hydrogen. I can probably take the gas filter off of it because I want this to only pump hydrogen. But it has got some oxygen into it, and I don't want to pump the wrong gas into that. So I'll run this on slow for now. The other thing that I did was they cleaned the base, and I put in kind of like a little storage base. Now, the storage base is terrifying for decor, and nobody likes to look at storage compactors. So I do separate these off from their own rooms so the decor doesn't impact them long term. As they're running through it all the time, and you don't just have bags all over the place. So I did put them off and put them in walls, but I do leave it airflowed so that carbon dioxide could continue to flow down. And I dug a little carbon dioxide pit to keep my food. And I split my food with a Wheezewort, so that way it also does kind of cool it. So that way if I do run out of carbon dioxide down here for whatever reason, then I can take that. Speaking of carbon dioxide, my carbon dioxide was up to here at one point. So I did put in this carbon skimmer down here, but I did it with a gaseous element sensor, and that came from, I want to say that gaseous element sensor came from generic sensors, maybe? Oh, yeah, generic sensors. So it does require a little bit of power to run, but it's worth it, because if not, this thing would just run nonstop on its own. And if there's no carbon dioxide for it to suck up, then I don't need it to run. So if my carbon dioxide does come up past this level and it reaches here, then this will run and take out that excess carbon dioxide. So how you hook those up is, normally every piece of machinery is going to have a little input port, and that's where you're going to plug in your automated wire. And you're going to run that, so like my smart battery, as I was telling you guys, it has a setting, and you need to make sure that the setting is active, not at 100, you got to set it. So I usually like to set mine for about 30. So that way, if it does charge, it'll do this, and then I deactivated mine. I turn this down to 15, set this to 30. So that way, as this comes down to 30, this isn't set to 50, which is its default setting, and they come run on a wheel and waste their time. And I always put a bag just with coal right next to my generator, so that way they don't have to travel very far and they can store it up. You don't need to store refined metal in every one of these power control stations, so I usually pick one, and that's where I keep it. And as long as you have a power control station in there, they'll put the little microchips on all those generators. If you don't know what those are, those just kind of boost the improvements. So this gives it extra generator, so it improves its power output by 50%. So right now, this is going to be able to pump out, I think this is 800, so this is going to be able to do 1200 watts. So as it's pumping out power, it's not drawing as much from the battery. So since this wire is considered overload, it's not running everything at the same time. As you can see, it's only running 480 watts, 360, 600. So it never runs all 1320 at the same time, which is why my wire doesn't overload. But we'll be looking to fix that, keep that, and once I start refining metals, I'll take everything and make it into conductive wire anyway, which is a 2 kilowatt wire. Okay, so room bonuses, as I told you guys, are important. I do have a greenhouse down here. This is where my little blossoms are growing, and all that does is, if you have a farmer, so let's take a look at jobs, okay? So I have a miner, I have an architect, and the other job that I like to give everybody as they max things out is gopher. And a gopher is really good for a number of reasons, because it helps them increase their run speed and their carry load. I believe that it works on strength. I think the only thing that actually improves strength setting in the game is either a neurovacillator or actually mopping up water. If you could get them to mop water, it will increase their strength level after a certain period of time. But I believe that's the only way to actually increase strength for a duplicate in the game. And I really hope that like they put a gym or something in the game later where we can train that, because it would be really cool if they could, and it would take out a lot of the monotony of them running back and forth to clean and sweep things up in the base. But so Rowan here, after we get done doing this, I'm probably going to take him, make him a gopher, so that they can get the exosuit engineer, so they don't experience the run speed loss you get while wearing a suit. So once you get your duplicates into their exosuits, you'll notice they run a lot slower. But if they're an exosuit engineer, then they don't get that debuff. They get to actually sprint in their suits, and it helps them out. So actually, that's what I'm going to do with Bert, since he's my scientist. I'm going to turn him into a gopher. Actually, we'll just make Rowan a gopher now. And Ari's going to continue to cook. So, as you see, I did take my first farmhand and I turned him into a rancher. So if you do that and you're worried about things, you can always just have them do farming at a 2 and ranching at a 3. But I always wind up having a lot of places for them, a lot of areas for them where I need them to, I need them to take care of the darn critters. That's what I'm trying to say. So taking care of the critters is a pretty big job, and that's what I need them to do. So the important thing about taking care of the critters, there's a number of incentives you get for harvesting and keeping care of critters. Shine bugs, eventually you're going to be able to build solar panels. Where are they? This is the one big thing I know a lot of people are doing with these, is here you get a solar panel, and this counts as sunlight. So eventually I'll take their critter room, I'll grow it, I'll put a solar panel in their critter room, and I'll be able to generate power from it. So it's a really good idea to try to keep your shine bugs. Now, yeah, they're getting glum, they get overcrowded, but I'm always going to maintain a pretty decent amount of shine bugs, and they'll never expire, so I'll never lose all of them. So I can take some of these eggs and I can move them into a different room, I can make it more, and I can have as many shine bugs as I really truly want. And same thing with hatches. So hatches produce coal, and coal is a resource. Once you dig it up, it's gone. So I can always create coal, and I can continue to run coal generators, which is what I'm doing. And So this one's pretty neat. This one's not an actual farm room. It's not anything, and I actually turned the harvest off on these balm lilies. And I did that because I want these Dreckos to come in here, and I just gathered them up from around the area here. And as you can see, I got it set to Drecko here. So I just wrangled them up and I dropped them off in here, and I let them just eat these balm lilies, and I don't harvest it because they make phosphorite. Phosphorite feeds my shine bugs, and it also feeds my pinch of pepper plants. Now, the cool thing is I actually will hope that they continue to lay eggs and stuff here, but as they get overcrowded, that might run into a problem. Because later on, we'll be taking these, making a room, trying to pump a little hydrogen into it, and I'll be trying to grow Glossy Dreckos, which you can shave them to get plastic from them. So, but for now, what I'm doing is I'm essentially using these guys and trying to let them just kind of die off of old age and turn into meat, so that I can make barbecue, because the soul food buff's really good for morale. So the other big system we did, like I said, down here is our kind of like our clean water system. So this is taking all of our polluted water that we're producing, and this is how you create water from pee, okay? Because here in the game, laboratories consume, okay, 5 kilograms of water per use. But what it does is it puts out 11.7 kilograms of polluted water, okay? So you're essentially taking that and getting like one and a quarter the water back. So it's producing more polluted water than it's taking in water. So if you can get them all peeing in these, then you're going to run into this issue where now I have excess water. So this system's designed for them to use this, and the sink is a 1-to-1 ratio, I believe. So it takes in 5 kilograms and puts out 5 kilograms. It's actually not telling me, but this is yeah, it takes in 5 kilograms and it puts out 5 kilograms. Okay. Same thing with the showers. Showers do the same thing. They're a 1-to-1 ratio, 1,000 grams, and they create 1,000 grams. So you don't lose water with these, but you gain water with lavatories. So the faster you can get the lavatories up, the faster you can start producing water early game. And yes, it's going to come out hotter, so I wouldn't tell you guys immediately to go flush it into your base. But cooling things does require power, so you got to be careful with how fast you try to do everything at once in the game, okay? So I pumped in initially clean water from my water here to charge the system. So I had a water line that went here and charged the system, and once it was full with water, I left it there for, I think it was like a cycle to get water. So once the water got backed up to here, I cut this off from the main source and it starts feeding itself because I overproduce water, remember? So that feeds into my sieve down here. So all the polluted water comes down here, and also the polluted water from my carbon skimmer too. But that's just excess. So essentially all my polluted water comes down and feeds my sieve. So the sieve takes polluted water and it cleans it. So it produces clean water. Okay. So what I've done with that is I've taken that to the output and put it into my liquid reservoir. So I only have the liquid you don't have to have a liquid reservoir, but I like to do that because if I just did this and split it, I would eventually run low on water here, and they might not be able to use the bathroom, and you could run into another issue. So I'm trying to figure out the shutoff. I'm going to probably put a liquid shutoff valve in here later, or a liquid valve, and kind of control the volume that's allowed to go this way versus what goes that way, so I can keep this system fully charged. So it doesn't run non-stop, and the system does back up, but I have that connected to a liquid shutoff valve. So my output from the liquid reservoir, so this will pump everything in here and it's supposed to clean it. That my ideology is that it's going to clean all this polluted water of all the clean water of germs, because your sieve doesn't clean germs, it only cleans the water. Sieves cannot kill germs, it tells you right there, and pass any disease they receive into their waste and water output. So as it creates polluted dirt, it's going to have food poisoning germs, and as it creates the water, the clean water, it's going to have germs. See, for instance, right here, it's trying to clean germs. And that actually might be where my issue is. So I'm actually going to turn this to about midday, because I want this to kill all these germs. And as you can see, it being stored in chlorine is just destroying these germs. So the only thing that kills food poisoning germs is chlorine or hot water. Hot water will kill food poisoning. I don't know if cold water will, but I'm sure it does, because all diseases die off at a certain temperature range. Did I pump dirty water in? Somewhere I did. Yeah, right here. So that's what was happening. That's how germs were getting in. But since this isn't feeding my main water supply, I'm really not that concerned, because it's going to go back in here, and it's not like it puts germs back on them. But I want the water to get clean, because eventually I will take some of this water and I'm going to pump it back into my base as I need it. So I want it to be clean water. And doing that, they're going to pee, and it's just a matter of finding the time, okay? That's all that is. So they use the bathrooms in the morning. I'm going to try to do this about midday, because they don't go to the bathroom midday anymore. They have actual set times when they use the bathrooms now. Okay, so then from the liquid reservoir, it feeds a liquid shutoff valve. And this liquid shutoff valve pretty much stops the water flow unless it's automated, which I have it on a clock sensor because I want it to be set to a certain time of day when this thing runs. When it runs, it'll feed out clean water, which is what our system is doing, is cleaning it, back into our system, creating a self-sustaining bathroom system. So this will clean its own water, it produces its own water, and it produces excess water. So that's this bathroom in a nutshell. This is pretty common knowledge, but I think it's a pretty cool trick to kind of clean all this dirty water out and get things done. So since this is pumping in, the sieve's cleaning water, and it's going to pump in dirty water into this. So dirty, clean water. I know it's like an oxymoron, but that's what it's doing. So now you can see that it's clean of all of its germs. And let's see how long do I have to go here? I can let this do 15. And we'll do it like here-ish. So now that it's going to hit the clock sensor is going to turn on, which is going to switch on my automation here for my shutoff valve, and it's going to pump in clean water. So eventually I will flush back out the germs that I put into the system, and that's going to be pretty simple to do. So now the system's fully charged, and I now have 693 kilograms of water stuffed into my reservoir. You don't have to have a reservoir, but I like to do that so that I can back it up and clean all the water as it does back up into the system. Okay, so this is my meat farm essentially for right now. So I'm farming meat off these critters. It does take time, so it's not like it's in a super effective system. And then I wanted to keep the chlorine confined to this area so that way it does clean down here. The only problem I don't have is since they don't come out in exosuits, I will have carbon dioxide build up down here at some point. Yep, there it is. We'll figure that out later. These are set to abyssalite because some of that has had slime lung on it. And algae, polluted dirt, slime. Probably should put eggshells in here too. And bleach stone. Now I only put bleach stone in these, not in these, because I don't want chlorine getting into my base as much as I can help it. Because too much does kill plants. Most of your mealwood and bristle blossoms cannot grow in chlorine, so I don't want that issue. But chlorine will also keep my food clean, so as long as I keep the carbon dioxide level down here, it's not a big deal because chlorine is heavier than oxygen, so it will come down, but it's lighter than carbon dioxide. So I did another liquid lock up here, and I did put a door on this, and I'll explain why I have the door here, even though it's not necessary. I only did that so if I need to, I can close this door, and I can stop my duplicants from going out here because I didn't have exosuits until very recently. I dug all this out without exosuits, and I dug down here without exosuits, and I actually even started digging up this geyser without exosuits. But what happened is it started getting really hot down here because this geyser was going, and this geyser puts out 110 degrees, so I didn't want anybody to get incapacitated. So then I decided I was going to put in a couple exosuits here, and I cut off every other path to get over here so they can't just run out this way. And they can only go this way down here now. So this is the one part that I actually have not really liked so much about my base over here. This the way that this is going. The exosuits, essentially, I'm only using to control temperature. Not really having a germ problem down here. This is more a hot biome down here. As you can see, the temperature is really hot. And also, it's going to be used over here to get into this cold biome, which is pretty big. And I imagine we're really close to oil. Oh, there it is, matter of fact. So this is going to be a really useful biome, and this is probably where I'm going to produce my plastics. The only thing I did find in here that I'm actually pretty nervous about is this volcano, because we won't be using magma till way later, and now we don't have abyssalite tiles, so I'm actually kind of in a snafu because I don't have a way to insulate this volcano. So I'm kind of concerned. I'm actually going to leave it buried because I don't think that it can erupt behind this. But I can't quite recall. Because if this goes, then I'm going to lose this whole biome, and that's going to shoot my plans straight down the drain. So I did notice there is this other cold biome down here, so I might dig into this and kind of see how big this is and put my little plastic and oil refinery in here and my metal refinery in there. Once we do that, I'll be able to get a transit tube system working, and I'll probably set that up right here, and that's what I have this power grid for, is specifically to run, and it's not going to run my exosuit dock. Okay. I won't be running my exosuit dock all the time, so I have this to run my exosuits and this pump that I have in the water down here, but I'm not pumping this water out because this water is really hot. So you can't just take this water and say, oh, I have a geyser that produces water, and pump it straight into your base. You'll overheat your base and you have another problem. You're going to have to find a way to cool it. So I'm going to use cold biomes to do that as I need to. And then I'll be able to, and then I need to find a way to cool the steam that this is going to put out so it'll condense, this doesn't overheat, and this gets flooded with steam. So as we go along, this is where the game starts to get really kind of, and I mean, I guess you could look at it a number of ways. Oh, I did run a pipe way over here, and I actually didn't want to do that. I was thinking about that, and I was like, this is a really bad idea. Especially with another cold biome so close. So we're just good. I'll just do this for now. Because I'm going to run it down to this cold biome. Because it's a shorter distance. And I won't have to be so concerned about that temperature. Well, the distance that my pipes need to go. So that's what I'm going to start doing here. And I'm actually... So I can dig out around, but I don't want to dig up more abyssalite than I have to, because the abyssalite is what keeps the cold in the cold, okay? That's what's going to happen here. And I will make this granite, because granite's going to be more accessible. As you can see, as I dig down here, they're going to dig up granite so they can dig it and then feed it instead of having to run back and grab rock. So whatever biome you're in, you should try to pay attention to what, like slime biomes, there's sedimentary rock available. The only thing about the properties that it is with sedimentary is it's thermally reactive, so if this is hot, it's going to make that hot really fast. But normally not a big deal. And then there's another cold biome up here and a natural gas generator, natural gas geyser. So that's pretty cool. This chlorine vent is really good, but I mean, I have a lot of chlorine. It's not really something I'm super concerned about. I have a squeaky pufflet incubating. That's pretty cool. So this thing sucks up bleach and creates bleach stone. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I have a ton of chlorine, so actually, if I can find a way to trap him in here, he can just do that, create bleach stone for me. But I mean, bleach stone's only good for hand sanitizers and keeping this filled with bleach. Yeah, as I told you guys, see, I'm already losing that heat that's on these, so I have a very good supply of stuffed berries, so I should be able to make it till I can move that farm. And this is really hot over here. So I have a lot of clay. And clay, so dirt is slow heating, so it's an insulator. So not so bueno. So what I can do, I definitely don't, you know what, whatever. So what I can do is I can go ahead and have them build these tiles here. And while the clay is heating up to whatever the surrounding temperature is, I can just wait, and then I'm out of fertilizer anyway, which is weird, but we'll get fertilizer back once we get up here to the natural gas geyser, because I'm gonna do the natural gas power plant up there. And then, oh my goodness, another cold biome. We're surrounded by cold biomes, so temperature is not going to be an issue. So, oh, there's a Glossy Drecko over here. If we could get him, it'd be really, really, really cool to have him already. I could put him up here in like this corner. Oh, I can't do that. I could put him up here in this corner. And what I'm going to do with him is I'll feed him mealwood, because that's his diet. He likes mealwood. And then, boom, boom. This come out to here. Put this here. And then this tile. Oh, I definitely don't want it to be igneous. So you need to pay attention to what you're building with. In your base, you preferably want to use sandstone. I would avoid doing igneous rock if at all possible, because igneous rock is going to come into your base hot, and you definitely don't want to do that if you don't have to. Critter, and then station. I need a station in here. I'm also going to have a trimming station. So I can do this. Oh yeah, this is good. So I can groom them, and I want that to be copper if possible, because iron's also going to be really hot. And I'll do this in sandstone. So it's gonna say invalid build location, but I don't think that man, that really looks like it does hang over there, doesn't it? Is that 2 or 3 tiles? It's like 2.5 tiles. That's 3 tiles, isn't it? Whatever. We'll just get rid of this one, and we'll do this. And that will draw a little bit of power. So actually, I could just... I'll do this out of gold amalgam just because I can. I'll go up this way, up here, through here. Alright, so I'm going to try to get that Glossy Drecko, because I think that that could be really cool to have right now. And then I can just pump some of this hydrogen into this base, and that would be really awesome as well. And because their scales grow in hydrogen. Yep, so it only grows in hydrogen. So he'll run around here, he'll eat, then he'll go up to the roof, and he'll sit up there in the hydrogen that's going to be at the top of the base. So that could be really useful for getting, since we found him so early, that's going to be really useful for getting into plastic earlier than expected. So kind of neat, let's see. Oh, and I got a morb here too. These things actually have good use later as you start farming puffs. I was actually talking to somebody about this in the Discord, but right now I have no use for him. So if I do this, and I do this, I'll just do this to be safe. I can dig down to come get this guy, because I just want to trap him, and then I'm gonna need to get some of this hydrogen up into here. So I actually think that I could take this gas filter out. I think that 2 air pumps down here is giving me just what I need. So I actually think I'm going to take that gas filter out, which means I could take all these pipes out. And I'll be able to pump straight from here. Well, that built automatically. Okay, I must have been close enough within a tile or so. So once they build this, then I'll be able to get a little bit of that into there, and we'll be able to work on this. So I'm going to speed it up now. Let them do their work. And I'm going to try to start farming Glossy Drecko, so we can start getting plastic earlier than being in the cold biome. That'll be really cool. All right. So I trapped my geyser here. I really don't want to dig this volcano up just yet. That could definitely be detrimental if this thing does go off. I'm going to find out. That could definitely change our game entirely. I'll just dig down to this, even though I don't need this Wheezewort just to have on standby. And the next big thing we're going to be looking for at this point, now that we're kind of this established, we're going to be looking to get down to the oil. So at this point in the game, I'm pretty well established. I have food supply. I have everything I need. My power's here, and essentially all I'm doing is consuming resources now. So now that I'm just sucking up resources, what I want to do is I want to find a way to use my resources a really, really, really good way. It only seems to make sense. Like, I don't want to sound silly when I say that, but I mean, that's kind of what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I will plant this, I will copy the settings across these tiles, and I will disable the harvest on it. Because this is going to be food for that Drecko, and I don't want to harvest it. With that being said, actually, I really don't think we're going to need this meal lice. So I think I mean, we have a lot. I'm just going to dig up one row for now. Even though it's on disable, it's still going to be sucking up dirt. It's still going to be taking all that, and I don't need it. So I'll disable the harvest on all of this. And I want to get just a little bit of hydrogen in here. Just enough to coat up the top of the room, and I am actually going to be... Wow, we are going to have so much hydrogen now. Holy smokes. I actually need to use a lot more hydrogen. Alright, so after we pump this, I'm just going to turn this up to 100 to regulate my hydrogen. Because if my hydrogen does build up enough, it will start flowing out underneath here and into my base, and that's not what you want. You don't want that. So normally I don't have this much luck with hydrogen right away, but it seems as though putting in a second gas pump in really fixed that issue. And all it's doing is taking some of that air and pumping it down low because oxygen rises. It's pumping the oxygen down here and pressurizing that, and all of that's residually coming up to the top of the base. And what I can do, actually, if I need, is I can always run this gas pipe wherever I want, pop a vent out. So let's say I was concerned because I wasn't getting enough gas pressure here, I can do this and put a gas vent in there. But that gas vent also runs all the way out here and charges my exosuit docks. And now that my exosuit docks are fully charged, and that second pump really helped me with that air pressure there. I mean, I have a backflow of oxygen. So I'm actually doing pretty solid there. And this oxygen should be at a pretty decent temperature. Yeah, as you can see, it's pumping out pretty cool oxygen, and it's actually kind of air conditioning the base in certain zones too. Which is going to be good, especially down here with my bristle blossoms, because it gets hot underneath those lights. So let's put that in there too. try and cool that down. Normally I could use a Wheezewort in here, but I like to leave some room. And bristle blossoms are really good decor, so I mean, you don't have to put paintings in here, but I'm telling you guys, like, decor is one of those things, like, if you don't take care of it, it can really, really kind of be a big down factor on your base. It can really, really, really be a detrimental thing and cause you a lot of stress that you don't need. Let me speed up. Yeah, we are super good on hydrogen, so I'm gonna actually set these to 50. So I actually start using a little more. I actually think I'm gonna set this guy to 100. Holy smokes, I have never had this much luck with hydrogen. Honest to God. This is actually pretty crazy. So I'm just going to start running these. I really just want to get that overflow done, then I'll take care of it. I need to find a right balance, and actually I might create a gas reservoir. I researched that, right? I'll just do it out. Oh my god, it's so big. I just don't want to use meaningless space in the base like this. How hot is it out here? It's not really that hot. I mean, that's gonna fix it temporarily. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting a little hydrogen put in here. That's good. That's really good. Good. But I'm gonna want to watch it. I'm gonna want that to go across the whole base there. So I'll actually keep that vent there, and I'm going to disconnect that tile already. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to go for this guy. So I'm going to go try to grab this guy. He's going to be set to wrangle, and I want him now. I need to make sure he's not set to come here. Nope. And not set to come here. Nope. The only thing that's going here is Glossy Drecko, Glossy Drecko, and I want that at a 9. I want that dude done, and I want him like ASAP. Okay, so that's gonna be one big task for them. Where's he going? Aren't you a farmer? Okay, Stinky. Do you, boo boo? Ain't nobody judging you. Can't nobody tell you what to do. You're a strong, independent woman. Alright. So anyway, I have this set to carbon dioxide. So like I said, as carbon dioxide levels come up, which as you can see is really not an issue. Man, that actually gets pretty warm through the base pretty quick. But 20 degrees isn't bad. And it should really kind of help cool this down a little bit as it comes out and gets produced. So I have a lot of Wheezeworts. I really wished I could get one here. I mean, I can. I just didn't want to do it this way. Yeah, we could do this. Yeah, we can do this. Okay, so it is getting warm there. I will not have these Wheezeworts here the whole time. The only reason I'm going to put them here is to take care of a temporary solution. That temporary solution is the heat that's being caused, and that's probably from the pipes that are coming in. And what I probably should have done is made them out of insulated pipe. I don't think you can cover up like that, can you? Oh, I can. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because that'll help me really, really, really nullify this situation early. And it'll stop my base from heating up where I don't want it to. I really wish that they would let you cover all tiles like this. But that they don't. So if I wanted to take normal wire and turn it into conductive wire, I couldn't do that. I have to delete the wire first before I can. I think that this would be a really awesome tool if they allowed us to just kind of come in and say, oh, I wanted that to be gold amalgam. You could pick gold amalgam and then cover over it like this. It would save you, again, monotony, which feels like a lot of this game can get monotonous at times doing these kinds of menial tasks, but it's all about management. So that's going to help me with heat management, and that is an important thing right now. Excuse me. And liquid bridges, however, can't be insulated, so kind of interesting. Okay. Alright, so perfect. I've got some hydrogen up there, and that looks ready to go. Big thing here is I am really producing a lot of hydrogen, and I'm not using a lot of it. I'm not really sure what I need right now that I could use to consume power. Well, eventually I'm hoping that these will just max pressurize, and if I do have an issue with hydrogen, it'll stop down here, but it's going to pump it to my base, which it's going to put a layer of it up here, which I'll have to leak out eventually if that is the case. Well, let's just take it one step at a time and see what happens. I have one Wheezewort seed, so I can just take one of these, or actually, I think that this is getting really cold, so I'll just take that away. Okay, oh, the other thing I did was my fire pole I made out of iron because I get a lot of it. And I put fire poles in the main section of the base so that way, as you can see, it mitigates their time going down ladders. And it makes them a little quicker around the base. Sorry, that came with refined metals, guys. So where am I at getting this guy? I want my Drecko. I want him now. Oh, I gotta go for mastered. Okay, Travaldo. Travaldo was my artist, so I have him set to art too. So he'll still do all the art projects, and he can do them at masterpiece level, but right now I'm making it so he can run faster, and I want everybody to lose the debuffs they have in their... What are we doing? Okay, we're gonna make this a little bit more important. This may not be important to you, dupes, but this means everything to me. I want this guy now. He's still young, so he can still lay eggs. So I want that done now, duplicants. Okay, so in a nutshell, guys, pretty much. Definitely not accomplishing what I set out to in this video right away, which I feel like is going to happen a lot with this game. Is I'm kind of fixing and reworking things, but I wanted to get a lot of you new guys because, like I said, the reason I started this base brand new like this is because I had some people in our Discord, which, by the way, guys, you should check the description for the Discord, and you can come share your ideas with us there. You can come talk and chat. And a lot of us are really digging and enjoying the game, so come talk Oni with us, come talk other games with us, come hang out, and make sure you guys do join the Discord if you guys want to. A lot of people were asking me because they're new to the game, just getting started, and I wanted to teach them how to play this game because I think that this is a well designed game. Oh, look at that, perfect. Temp is spot on. Chip Cheerio. That is going to be a lot of pinch peppers. That's ridiculous, actually. I'll just dig these up because I don't think these are coming back. And I can deconstruct this little pit here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so anyway, a lot of people were asking me a lot of questions about this game. So I said, you know what, man, like, why don't I just do a let's play about it, and we can start a base from scratch, and we can share the ideas that we have together. So if you guys want to come help out people, you want to come share ideas, you guys want to tell me something, you guys want to talk to me, I respond to every comment that's ever made on any of my videos, and I respond to everybody in Discord. I want to be that guy that you guys can talk to. I want to be a YouTuber that's in touch with with the people that support his videos. So make sure that if you guys do enjoy the videos that you like and subscribe. And I'm looking to play so many more games on this channel. I want to do a little bit of everything. Somebody mentioned Don't Starve to me, so I think that could be something that's really cool to play because it's also a Clay Games, which this is made by Clay. And I really, really, really dig what they've done with this game. I think that this is one of those few games that you can get your money's worth out of it tenfold. This is a game that's going to pay you back in dividends. Holy cow, that is super hot. Okay. That'll pay you back in dividends what you're getting out of the game. So my dudes, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to, oh yeah, look, this is right by diamond, which means that down there is oil. So what I'm going to do for the next episode, because I don't want these videos to be 2 hours long. We're already running on about an hour now. What I want to do is I'm going to get our plastics set up. So I'm going to research into our plastics. And actually, I could start doing that now. I'm going to get plastics set up. I'm going to set up another hydrolyzer. Well, I wish there was a thermonullifier. That's actually... I can't believe that out of all these cold biomes, I haven't found a thermonullifier yet. I wonder where one is. I might dig to a couple biomes. Didn't I have it? There's a geyser here too. Check that out. We'll dig and find out what that is too. I want to find a thermonullifier. I wonder, it's probably in this effing huge thing. Crap. Okay, well, I'm going to set up some plastics. So maybe this thing does run deeper down, but I imagine it's going to stop soon. So there's room for the hot biome down here, the lava biome. Because as you can see, the temperature changes dramatically, and that is why I have exosuits where I do here. Because the temperature is hot here, but once they get in those exosuits, they ignore everything about that. Oh yeah, by the way, I have polluted ice in here that I'm trying to warm up. Once that does warm up eventually, because it's really cold. I did make this out of obsidian, but I'm really kind of like questioning myself on that. I don't know that obsidian... 0.2. What's sedimentary? 0.2. Okay, so they're the same. 1 gram by 1... Okay. Yeah. Okay, so they're the same. So it's the same. Okay. Same thing here. I was able to dig into the slime biome quite a bit, which normally you wouldn't because it is, look at that, it's filthy, covered with germs. But that's what the chlorine does, buddies. As soon as they run down here, they bring all that stuff down here. I can purify the slime. As you can see, I have a ton of slime in here, which I do have an algae distiller, but I don't have an algae problem. Okay, so algae is not a problem for us. Right now, hydrogen's a big problem. Crap. Man. Okay, so I'm going to figure out, well, what if I just take all this crap down and put I think that's what I'm going to do just to kind of help balance this back out. And if I need to, I can just pump it from here back into itself. I'm going to put a gas reservoir right here. Man, there's so much building to be done, and this should be a 7, so this should be coming first. Oh my gosh, please. Okay, so that is igneous. I want to stay with this episode till we capture this Glossy Drecko, so another, hopefully not very long. So, alright guys, we're going to go for the emergency 9. You guys should really be cautious how you use 9s in this game, because it will trump most other of their tasks, and that could cause you guys a lot of grief and hell, so just be very careful with how you use 9s in this game. Oh, because we're spending all of our time farming. Crap. Okay. Well, all right, here we go. Now we're cooking. Oh, not as much as I wanted to. Oh my goodness. We're spending all of our time on pitch and pepper plants. Okay, here we go. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. And if you guys comment on this video, which I know that if any of you guys even make it this far and say, give me a name, I will name any one of these duplicates in the game after you. So if you guys did happen to make it through this entire video, which I know is probably pretty hard, these are long videos. If you comment, give me a name in the game, I will change the duplicate's name to yours for watching and supporting the channel, and I appreciate that, my dudes. So, I'm going to be that guy, so if you guys are enjoying the content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to everybody. I'm going to set up a Patreon. I have a Patreon set up, but I don't really care if anybody visits it or not, man. I'm not doing this for, $1 million. I enjoy video games. I want to spread the love of the video games, and I want to share great games with you guys. Because I'll tell you, man, there was a big drought. This game filled a really big void for what I was actually really desiring out of a video game. So, please, guys, be sure to take the time to like and subscribe and share. You guys can find me on Reddit. I'm always sharing these things all over the place. And I'm trying to grow my channel and our community. So, the Discord link's down below and all that. Come on. I don't want to ultra speed this because ultra speed is actually really bad for this game. Holy cow, come on. Come on, buddy. Do I have hydrogen coming in? Dude, we are creating so much hydrogen. Normally it is a big problem. But we are definitely not having an issue, friends. This is issue? No issue. Alright, tissue, issue. I want to get this done. Come on, buddies. There you go. Dig away. Dig away. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm gonna ultra speed through break time. Because I forgot. I had to give him extra breaks so I don't stress him out. Sorry, man. Come on. Ultra speed's really bad. It's actually really buggy, man. If you have debug mode enabled and all that, you guys should be really careful. Really careful about that, man. Really, really careful. Outside of rec room? What do you mean? You're what makes this a rec room. You're what makes this a great hall. Recreational building. Whatever. Alright, let's take a look at what our water situation is over here too. I might pump some water in. Okay, so we're sleeping. I'm gonna ultra speed this. You know what I might do here, man? Because I think that this is... Yeah. So I'm pretty much vacuuming that out pretty strong. I think what we're going to do... I'm going to put an Atmos sensor in here, and I'm going to set it to like 1500. I think that one of the problems is I'm sucking so much of this out that I'm actually pulling this hydrogen down. Yeah, I think that's one big issue we're having. Okay, here we go. We're getting there. We're digging. We're digging. So I think I'm actually pulling hydrogen down as I'm pumping oxygen from this area. I probably should have moved these pumps down now that I think about it. I'm creating too much of a vacuum below it. So we're going to make this above 1400. See how bad that is? I don't know if it'll be good or bad, but I know that it's... We'll find out real fast. Okay. Come on. Come on, buddy. Have we wrangled this guy yet? Oh, we're there. We're there. We just need to wrangle him now. Go, 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 go. Come on, secret agent, man. Get down there and wrangle him. Oh. Come. I want him now. Come on. Come on. Oh crap. He's gonna be fighting over his suit to get down there. Is he going? Where's my rancher? Yes. Look, buddy. Come on. Yes. Give me this Drecko. Go. Go. Work. I don't care. No! No! Where are you going? Oh my god, dude. The duplicate is so silly. Okay. Well. Alright, guys. So, you know what I'm going to do is spending the next 30 minutes of my life doing this. So, I will catch you guys next time. Hopefully, I can get another video done this weekend. That's the idea. So, the idea is probably going to be to expand my exosuit collection here. So, I might, but I want to leave this space so that way when I get transit tubes, I can do that. Because I don't want to have to burn plastic going like this, like a spaceship. But I'll catch you guys next time, and I really appreciate it. Again, guys, if you like and subscribe, thank you guys if I've earned it. I appreciate that so much. And if you guys join up in the Discord, man, say what's up and drop in and say hello. And I will catch you guys for the next video. You guys all have an amazing day. Take it easy, my dudes. Peace out.